Do you have an interview coming up? Can you ace some of the most common questions that an employer will give you in an interview? Hi, I'm Lori, along with Lila, here at AgHires. We talk to candidates on a daily basis, and we'd like to help you prepare for your next interview and how to answer these most common questions. Lila, what are some of the basic questions almost all employers will ask?
Well, one of the first questions an employer is probably going to ask is, tell me about yourself or walk me through your background. So how do you suggest candidates answer this in a well-rounded way?
It comes with a lot of balance. You don't want to be too lengthy and lose their interest. You don't want to be too brief either. What you want to focus on is making sure what you're explaining to the employer aligns with the role. So make sure you're highlighting those jobs, tasks, experiences that align with the job that you're interviewing for. And if you've got some jobs on there that don't really align with the role, then just don't spend as much time going over that background.
What about personal questions? Should they be talking about their family, their marriage, their kids? What about those aspects?
I would stay away from any personal information. I know you want to connect with that employer, and it might feel like a good way to connect with them, but interview, you want to keep it professional and keep all personal information out of it.
Okay. What about, tell me why you're interested in this role?
That is one of the most common questions. You're going to want to make sure that you're not giving surface level answers like, I'm really interested in because it's remote, or I really want it because the hours fit for me. That is basically all surface level, looking at how that job fits for you. The employer is looking at, why are you really interested in working here and taking on this role? A better answer is really to talk about, I'm interested in this specific industry that you're in. I'm interested in some of these projects that you have listed on the job description. I'm interested in growing my career. I feel like I can contribute. They want to know that you're interested in that role and just not kind of the benefits or the aspects around that role.
Yeah, not so focused on what's in it for you.
That's right.
What about another common one? What is your biggest strength, or what are you naturally great at?
We get this all the time, and if you Google it, there's just about every suggestion out there. The challenge is you don't want to give a generic answer. That is going to be a complete turnoff to the employer if you're giving a generic answer like, I'm a great communicator, or I'm a team player. What you're going to want to do is something more genuine, honest about you, but also ties to the role. So think about something more specific, something special that you can bring to the table that is also genuine.
Now, how honest should they be with this question?
Very good, especially on any type of weakness question. You want to be honest, but let's maybe turn it into a positive. So something of maybe the role requires to be have a lot of detail. You might want to share that, well, sometimes it can be a little overly detailed. And so that's kind of a flaw, but not necessarily, especially in a role that they're asking you to be detailed in the first place.
Any final pro tips to make sure you're answering these common questions in the best way possible?
Sure. One of the best things you can do is practice. I can't preach practicing enough. And when I'm talking about practicing for your interview, you're going to want to just practice in your head. It is much more valuable, and it'll come out smoother the next day or whenever your interview is if you practice out loud. So prepare how you might answer these questions, how you might align that with the exact role that you're interviewing for. You don't necessarily want to have a cookie cutter response for all of these questions. You're going to want to adjust that for the exact role you're interviewing for. So if you're interviewing for a sales role for one company, but a customer service role for another company, you're going to want to adjust a little bit of your kind of elevator pitch in these answers.
For more tips, like and follow AgHires.